Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. As today we're going to be going over what if Lightning McQueen never went to Radiator Springs, suggested by Movie Sonic Kid 2021. Now thank you for the suggestion, Movie Sonic Kid 2021. It's a really good one. So that's why I am deciding to use that suggestion and go over it today. What would have happened? It really would have been a lot. It would have affected Radiator Springs so much, and it would have affected how Lightning McQueen was and how he acted in the race at the end of the movie. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, of course, the first thing that would happen is he'd be on the highway. DJ, Boost, Wingo, and Snot Rod would already be there. They'd already mess around with Mac, and Lightning would fall out. And then after that, Lightning would be on the highway looking for Mac. After that, everything that happened in the movie, Lightning would straight up go for the hauler that was heading down the road, thinking it was Mac. The same thing would happen with the train scene. Lightning would almost get hit by the train, but luckily not, and then he'd jump over right onto the road, yelling Mac, thinking he was Mac. He'd eventually make it over to the hauler, thinking it was Mac, and the person he thought was Mac would be like, "I ain't no Mac, I'm a Peterbilt for dang sake. Turn on your lights, you moron." And then, this is where it gets interesting. Instead of Lightning heading the other way down the road to his left, instead, he'd turn right and go right past the Peterbilt looking for Mac. After that, he'd eventually find someone that gives him the destination to California. He'd eventually make it to the raceway, and the fans would be crowding him, asking what happened. It'd be going viral on the internet on how Lightning McQueen makes it back. Lightning would eventually make it to the Los Angeles International Speedway in California, where he'd be greeted by a bunch of fans and the press conference. Luckily, he'd make it there before Chick could get there, just in time. So, he started smooching up on Dynaco and practicing for the race. Due to no customers in Radiator Springs, and since Lightning McQueen won't be coming there, they'd eventually go bankrupt, and they'd have to close down their shops, and they'd have to move out. Sally Carrera, the town attorney, would stay with the town until Doc's death, and then, after, she moved to Ornament Valley. Feeling very guilty about her failure to keep Radiator Springs on its tires, she would become a preservationist, using her skills as an attorney to protect historic buildings for the public, and to prevent other towns from the same fate as Radiator Springs. Fillmore would move to a bohemian community and make his organic fuel in a portable brewery built inside a trailer that he can take with him on his travels to various hippie conventions and meetups with his friends. He and Sarge would remain close friends, though. They would live in different towns. Mater would move in with his cousins Buford, Cletus, Judd, Lewis, and Tommy Joe and run his towing and salvage business from their garage, continuing his kind heart adventure of helping cars in need. Flo and Ramon would consolidate their savings to start a cafe in Los Angeles. Ramon would become a well-known street artist, painting beautiful murals throughout the city. Luigi and Guido would move back to Italy to live with Luigi's uncle Topolino. They would work at Topolino's tire shop. Guido would begin fulfilling his lifelong dream of becoming a pit crew member by assisting amateur racers in local rallies, and would eventually make his way to the top as Francesco Bernoulli's Pity. Red would work as a volunteer fighter at Prop Wash Junction. Lizzie would remain in Radiator Springs even after the last car left, refusing to leave the town her husband worked so hard to build, but would eventually move to an old cars home in a nearby town after the townsfolk encouraged her to move due to her health, and she would live out the remainder of her life. Sheriff would return to his home city, New York, to work as a traffic cop in Times Squares, as his father, grandfather, aunt, two cousins, and younger brother had, and would live with his family. Sarge would stay until Doc's death, then would leave to work as a recruitment officer in the military. Lightning would have raced at the Los Angeles International Speedway like in the end of Cars 1, but this time he wouldn't have been distracted from Radiator Springs from all of his friends. He wouldn't have known them, so he wouldn't have been distracted and would have been much easier to stay on track. The king would crash, but Lightning would not help the king. Also, Lightning would win the Piston Cup, and he would never learn the drift move Doc Hudson taught him, and sadly, he would not learn how to drive backwards like how Mater taught him. Dynaco would eventually hire Lightning, and he'd accept the offer, not realizing how important Mac is to him and all of his other friends. So, he'd accept Dynaco as an offer and live his life happily ever after. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.